Liberty on clearance. When did we lose the thread here, folks? The great American melting pot. The just and unjust roll half-formed and uncooked off the family storybook. Then it's up to us to study and blush, to learn what to lose and who to trust. If the governmental abuse has you nonplussed, just see how material need for what is limited in physicality for such a headlong race makes us criminals who stepped in the wrong place on the floor made of earth. I don't pollute as much as companies do, but we pay them for our luxuries so the riches may ease their guilt. Everyone in a society of commodities earns some share of responsibility for all the want, but do we need to want so much? Boycott. So many misguided loners flock to Trump, like flying monkeys, exploding their hands open for him to place into their eager palms the spiritual curse of a burden so vast of becoming themselves hungry ghosts like that blonde Antichrist, blistering with the impotent urgency to resurrect some distant, non-existent, imagined ideal past. So many have resigned their agency to be absorbed by an ego that behaves just as capitalism itself. But the Magaviathan only seeks their wealth. His better judgment is very cheap. His philosophies are skin deep. His justifications are impressively weak, and he lies as he breathes, but you know he's no good. Was life really that boring? No. And do not allow hopelessness to present itself to you as a viable option. Do not allow this tyranny to merely depress you. Sadness is understandable, but you must go further. Feeling troubled is reasonable, but you must channel this disenfranchising into action, into contemplation and articulation. Refuse conformity. The game isn't rigged because it's not a fucking game. All people are given feelings and names. However you can, slow down the wheels of this corporate takeover of our country. Create strategic chaos. Your dreams will mean nothing without basic rights. Don't watch them fade, no matter how grim things get. If you can speak, you can fight oppression. The least among us must now be considered family. They that are most different from you are now exactly the same. The richest are few, but they seek to consolidate every power and wealth that they can, while only we at the bottom are at risk of being crushed. Republican or Democrat or anything else, whether you voted for or against the detestable swindler, we are facing insurmountable odds, but even if the odds worsened 1,000-fold, we still cannot permit ourselves to give in. Dwelling in hopelessness is not a viable option, no matter how tempting it is to give up. We are the people, and each person is a wellspring of hope. The souls of the oligarchs are rotted. Do not confuse their spiritual suicide with a fresh start. Billionaires do not have your interests at heart. We are only numbers to them, cattle. But our numbers are great, and the cause is true. Pick up the sword. Not against your fellow numbers if you can help it, but against the plutarchs that have designated us, our families, and all our loved ones for slaughter. The preservation of tolerance forbids any defense of aggressive intolerance, which denounces all argument and so places itself outside the law. Sway any that can be swayed. Guilting them will only increase pain. But as they say, you can't fix stupid. Then cleverly disarm it. Above all else, make not the mistake of sacrificing what you love in the fight to protect it. Let this turmoil not discourage you, but rather stir an ever-deepening appreciation of all that we hold dear. Let it remind you, no matter how badly the cards are stacked against us, we must face the fight like a new day, on this and every day to come, for our freedoms, for our neighbors and theirs, and generations yet unborn, for the earth and uncountable ecosystems, so that children may know love, so that life prevails over greed. Thank you.